Deep disclosure, deeper down the rabbit hole than ever before.
The practice of adding 3 crowns to the papal tiara, known as the triregnum, began around the early 14th century during the reign of Pope Clement V, 1305-14. Too much power, there are many who are discovering the truth about the nefarious actions of the Vatican and the remnants of Rome. What evidence is there of such control and manipulation? The papal bull Unam Sanctam, issued by Pope Boniface VIII in 1302, which asserted the Pope's temporal and spiritual authority over all humans. A secret trust was created that went hand in hand with the Cestui Trust, a trust and edict that declared everyone dead and lost at sea, thus owning everything on the planet, including human bodies and souls, since they belong to the Church by decree of the vicar, who is basically a king who claims divine authority over everything. The term bull, in the context of a papal document such as a papal bull, comes from the Latin word bulla, which refers to a sealed document or charter. In the past, papal documents were sealed with a lead seal, known as a bulla, which was attached to the document with a cord. This seal guaranteed the document's authenticity and authority, particularly those issued by the Pope, such as decrees, encyclicals, and other official statements. The papal bull Romanus Pontifex, 1455, issued by Pope Nicholas V, which granted the Portuguese the right to colonize and enslave non-Christian peoples. This was used as a catch-all for each country. Many have discovered this bull as establishing a trust or a Cestui Trust that claimed ownership of the world and its inhabitants. The 3 crowns on the Pope's tiara are also known as the triregnum. The 3 crowns symbolize the Pope's triple authority as Father of Kings, Governor of the World, Vicar of Christ. These 3 crowns also represent the Pope's authority over the 3 states of the Roman Catholic Church: the Church Militant, the Church on Earth; the Church Penitent, the Church Suffering, or the Church Expectant, referring to the souls in purgatory; the Church Triumphant, the saints in heaven. During a time when so much control was being asserted, Pope Sixtus IV, Pope from 1471 to 1484, born Francesco Della. He was a patron of the arts, commissioning artists such as Botticelli and Pollaiuolo, and built the Sistine Chapel. He also founded the Vatican Apostolic Library and was involved in the Spanish Inquisition. He was criticized for his nepotism and political maneuvering. The Knights Templars were the first bank and the military for the Church. The Knights Templar was founded in 1119 and received papal recognition in 1129. The Knights Templar was also known as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon. Purpose: the Knights Templar was a Catholic medieval military order that was formed to protect Christian pilgrims visiting the Holy Land and defend Christian holy sites, later protecting the assets of those traveling. Founders: the order was formed by a French knight named Hugues de Payan and 8 relatives and acquaintances. Headquarters: the Knights Templar set up their headquarters on Jerusalem's sacred Temple Mount, the source of their iconic name. Papal recognition: the Knights Templar received the formal endorsement of the Catholic Church and support from Bernard of Clairvaux, a prominent French abbot, in 1129. Growth: the Knights Templar set up a prosperous network of banks and gained enormous financial influence. They also developed a reputation as fierce fighters during the Crusades, driven by religious fervor. Downfall: the Knights Templar was attacked by the French king Philip IV on Friday, October 13, 1307, and then officially disbanded by Pope Clement V in 1312. The Knights found a hidden treasury under the temple of King Herod. It was the lost Book of Moses, which revealed so many things that the Templars realized they are defending a false story of divinity. They began to practice the mysteries of secret teachings and began to step back from the Church. Suspicion of dissent is why false charges against the Templars were trumped up in an attempt to take over the wealth they held. In 1307, King Philip IV of France arrested and tortured Templar leaders on charges of heresy and immorality. Pope Clement V initially absolved the Templars of heresy, but later reversed his decision and suppressed the order in 1312. Jacques de Molay, Grand Master of the Templars, was burned at the stake in 1314 along with his aides. This was the past life of Matthias. It is not well known that Rome was maneuvering behind the scenes, creating more secret control. The establishment of the sovereign territories of the Vatican, London City, District of Columbia, where the authorities put in place to control the world, Vatican humans, London the money, and DC the military. However, the perversion of power was never granted or agreed upon by the inhabitants of Earth. A document exists that conveys all these powers and authorities into a different sort of trust for good, which was signed by treaty in the 1960s. Several of the world's largest monetary trusts were included in this God Trust for the People. It was set up to take back the blatant theft and trickery used to enslave the people in a tacit agreement that no one agreed to. The temple members of the Seventh Seal Temple are the originators of the Knights Templars and have inherited the responsibility to keep the real God Trust safe. Many things have confirmed this over and over, and it is the responsibility of the people to stand up and defend the rights of everyone, including protecting the assets and wealth of over 900 zeros of God's wealth for the people of the planet. Another example of these ancient trusts is the Bedford Trust. It underwrites the Federal Reserve and owns many significant land masses. It is 8,000 years old in the treaty that was written in an off-world foreign language and is the most sought-after document, safeguarded to this day. The authority and signature control over these Google-size assets are held in the God Trust. This is all amalgamated into the new Saint Germain Trust as the promise of prosperity for humanity.